In the last few weeks, I've been traveling with no plan. I went from Konkan to Kachanaburi to Ayutthaya. I always have to think when I say that. And now I'm here in Pattaya. But traveling with no plan gave me a deeper insight into me, how I think, but it also helped me focus in on what's important to me in my future. In this video, we're going to go over a few simple things that I do to help get my thinking in order. And if you're honest with yourself, you get a little bit more insight into who you are and what makes you tick. So anyway, come on, let's go. I'd say about 6 months before I set out on the road, I started tracking my life financially daily. I started looking at my life like days of old. We used to go to the bank and pull money out, and you had to have so much money for the weekend because sometimes banks weren't even open on the weekend, or everything closed at a certain time, so you weren't going to the ATM. I took myself back to that and seeing what my spending was like. I started keeping a budget. I knew what the basic framework of what I wanted to get to, how much I had, how much I'd like to spend, how much I'd like to save. I made a simple spreadsheet and every day started tracking my spending. So that gets us straight up into step number 1. You need to know where you are financially. This whole credit industry is about making other people rich and not yourself rich. My grandfather used to say the only money you really have is the money between your mattress, and I believe that to be true, because that $20 or that $100 bill is definitely in your hand. No one can change it. And we've been led in this way of thinking that makes our lenders rich. A bank used to hold our money and do something with it, and now they're just playing around and making fake money all the time. It makes no sense. So I needed to right size myself and see exactly where my finances were going. Do you know where you are at financially? And sometimes it's really shitty to look at. Just do it. If you don't know where you're at, you can't make a change. You're going to sit and do something different, thinking you're doing something different, but you're not. You're just doing the same actions in another direction. So it's very important for you to know where you're at, because once you know where you're at, everything changes. You can get out of that. When you look at your finances every day, you get to find out the reason why or where your money is going. Do you like shopping? Do you like cooking? Do you like shiny things? Are you taking care of more than one person? I was a single parent. You might have a partner that can't work, a family member. Now we're in this sandwich generation that they talk about where you're taking care of kids and parents. In my case, I had to ask myself, how long am I taking care of children? You might be helping your adult child for way too long. They're an adult. Did you hear the word before child? Your life becomes a lot smaller, or may become a lot smaller as you get older, but your spending might still be the same as when, say, your children lived in the house with you. It's quite interesting how keeping track of your money, and not the bank doing it for you and putting it in this category of other or toiletries. Are they your toiletries? Did you spend that money on getting your hair done, or did you pay for others to get their hair done? Did you spend that money on your fun, or did you give it to someone else for their fun? These are the fine details that we'll find out when we track our spending. And when we overspend, when we maybe splurge, when we told ourselves we weren't going to splurge, when you have to type those numbers into that spreadsheet, I used to take the fill color and fill it in red so that when I scanned it down, it was like this painful, don't do that again. And it hurts to see it, but as the months go on, there's no more red in there anymore. I can see that, oh my goodness, I'm giving a lot of money to that person that really needs to take care of themselves, because I'm going to live many years, and if I keep doing this, I'm keeping myself stuck in a situation that I can't get out of. So money isn't everything, but if you're giving it all away, then yeah, it's a form of energy. It's a source of living, right? So if I'm giving it all away, I'm definitely not keeping enough for myself where it'll build up, where it'll build me up and give me the energy to make my actions. So finances are important. So around the end of October, and while I was still in Wahin, I decided I'm going north. I did a couple of videos on wanting it to be quiet and finding that out about myself. So I'm heading to Konkan. No plan, going to go by bus. And there's so many buses that go, I'll have no problem. Oh my goodness, got to the bus station, wow. There were people everywhere. And it could be because most everybody, it was the weekend before the Lantern Festival. So everybody was getting themselves up to Chiang Mai especially, and the different parts of Thailand where the festivals are larger. Before I even leave to go to Konkan, I reach out to a past professional friend of mine. We haven't talked in the last couple of years, more due to my cancer. But I know professionally we have a lot of crossover. So if I want to get back into things, this is the person that will fill the gaps of the questions I don't really have. The answers, I should say, that I don't really have for the questions over the last couple of years. So now I'm on the bus and I'm heading north to Konkan. But to take the ride, I have to have my neck brace on. I have to have my hip binder on. And just thinking to myself over the 6 hours, the limitations, I guess, I'll use that term loosely, but I'm not 20 anymore. And these are things that I have to remember that I do not take into account when I'm all excited and off on the next idea of let's go do this again. I get so excited from a great idea. So as my brain is going over all these different project ideas I have, plus my side hustle idea, plus other ideas, things that I've done in the past, my brain stops and says, and that comes to simple step number 2, and probably the hardest step of all, write it down. Nobody writes anything down anymore. And even if you're not doing it, pen in hand, pen and paper, put it. And for me, that's exactly what I did. I made these simple little spreadsheets, these pros and cons of all these different ideas that I had. Sometimes I'm doing it while I'm sitting doing the laundry. That was directly across the hotel in Konkan, so that was kind of nice. But taking those moments in time to breathe and write down your thoughts, not making that to-do list, just taking that time to get it out of here and putting it on paper. Hearing your thoughts, seeing your thoughts on paper. See what you're telling yourself. So next, it was off to Katchanaburi. I wanted to be on the River Kwai. And while I was there, that's when I really sat down and looked at this pros and cons list. I could feel the change happening. I could feel where I was. I'm sitting looking out at this beautiful scenery. I'm in Thailand in a very historical place. So what's going on every day and what I'm actually feeling is now starting to not match up how my brain's feeling, how I'm thinking. These thoughts are all back here. It's becoming very heavy, weighted to how, in comparison to my experience that I'm having. So I write down these real simple spreadsheets. I label it path forward options, pros and cons. I basically put down the option, pro, con. First option is what I am doing. I'm traveling my minimalist life and doing this channel. The pros according to that and the cons. Second is I read cards. I've read cards for over 30 years, and instead of that really being in the back burner and a side hustle, in the last video I shared, I'm going to push that to the front. I said I've always wanted to go and roam, so I've had this dream of having a van and traveling. And so I could read my cards out of there, travel out of there, and then also doing my cannabis lotion and consultations and business consultations one-on-one. I had the programs that I wanted to sell that I have already, that I've written or that I've performed in the past in success, and wrote them all down, 6 different options. So I had to move things around because I had already spent over 1.5 years making a structure for my life, focusing on my health, getting myself back into this environment where I really feel like I want to go forward. I had already set up a daily routine, and I operate by that routine like it's second nature to me now. I was so preoccupied with doing the channel, these thoughts and everything while I was in Concan to come back to Kitchener. Again, just like going to the bus north, here I am about 8 days later and I want to come back south. And I'm thinking Kitchener, no problem. It's a train, no problem. I go about 4 days before I want to leave to get my ticket. And there is absolutely no second class. I don't think nothing of it. Again, I'm distracted. My brain can get so distracted with what I'm doing here. I just tell Theresa, you'll be fine. You know, financially, whatever my motivator is, I go with that. And it must have been financial because he said 200 and whatever bought, I paid it. And never thought of third class fan. Well, there is no fan. The fan is the open window on the train, and third class is exactly that. It is a hard plastic seat. So it is 7 hours on a third class, and not only that, I'm right outside the bathroom. Not wonderful at all. Definitely not wonderful. There is resilience in me I never knew I had. 7 hours on a train, you get a lot of time to think. And those options and how I wrote them down look a lot different by the time I get to Kitchener and I'm reviewing them on the deck as the boats are going by. And it's very easy to rejig those options into where I am, what I love and dream of, and what looks like work, what is a little bit more task heavy, and the payoff back is not so immediate, as well as I don't know what it really gives to me personally. As you go on in life and you get older, the personal payoff becomes much more important. So really getting right with what's important for now and again, the future. The future looks much different. I think we age just as quickly as we grow. From 1 to 20, the expanse of growing is phenomenal. And I also think the same thing happens from 60 to 80, the slowdown. It doesn't mean we're not productive. We are slowing down in that rate. So I want to be very aware that there are going to be very definite increments of me slowing down as I go forward. So that day of travel, that 7 hours on the train right-sized me. And when I got to Kitchener, sitting on the deck, I went over each one of those options that I had written down. And that's number 3. Don't just write and do. Write, pause, and then review. Or with any change. Once you know where you're at, and then you write down where you want to go, you need to sit with it a bit. Come back and review it. It's like editing. It's like sending off a letter that's very important. Don't just write it and send it. Write it, pause, and review. Is that really what I was thinking at the time? When I was writing, was I being motivated by other factors? And now that I've sat with it a bit, what was I really saying to myself? Was it me talking, or was it, what I know to do? So now I get myself to Ayutthaya. I am thinking by this time, this is not good planning. I went there to go to there, to come back to there, to go, what was I thinking? But it's all good. Again, as I said, we learn lessons about ourselves if we're willing to take the time and learn more about ourselves. I was getting more and more comfortable with saying to me, this is my life, works for me. There's no one else to worry about here, nor do I have anything I need to report on. How others are living or how my mind thinks others are living is of no importance when I'm dealing with my life. And that brings me to number 4, changing your perception. As I physically go through these towns and go through these plannings and changes daily in my life, my perception has changed. I spent a lot of years trying to put the square me in a round hole. It doesn't work. I'm just that person, you know? It's hip to be square, as Huey Lewis would say. As you get older, you feel more comfortable in being yourself. And I would hope you would. I would hope that I've gone through all those events and these things that I look back on, these regrets that I might have, or these guilt processes that I go through sometimes, I would hope that I've gone through all of them so that I could be more comfortable with me, especially at this stage in my life. My life has changed. Some people's lives change, but yet they don't change. They are living, waiting for this life to come back. This is not a vacation. This is my life. Even though I talk to you sometimes about the places that I travel to, it isn't a travel channel. In a few years, I could maybe be not traveling. I have no idea. It's about me growing and changing, and life is constantly about that. So when I'm trying to get into my head that, oh, I came here and I said I was going to see this and I don't see it, maybe I've made those decisions. One, don't want to see it. Two, can't financially see it. There's something I want to do later. Maybe what I thought I was going to do 3 months ago has now changed. I also think that helping you change your perception is going through some of these situations that you go through. In different situations, your expectations, you learn to adjust them. When I was traveling from Con-Ken to Katchanaburi, 7 hours on a train, I was so happy because it was like, great. Once we got off the train in Bangkok, I'm going to get in a van and it'll be 3 hours and I'm in Katchanaburi. Well, lo and behold, somewhere outside Katchanaburi, the van broke down. So what was going to be a 2 to 3 hour travel ended up being close to 5. All I could do was relax and let go and let it happen. And that's the perception. Sometimes things are different than how I believe they were going to turn out. Having different experiences in your life can make you strong and resilient, but it can also make you soft and pliable. You can learn to let go and just breathe. Nothing's going wrong. You'll get there. So now I'm a day or so before I'm going to leave Ayutthaya and make my way south for the last couple of weeks in Thailand before I get to Canada. And I phoned my daughter to discuss the travel plans and dates and such. And I catch her up on the last couple of weeks and what I've been doing and the things I just explained to you. And I tell her how I went from this to that and she says, oh my gosh, you're making me tired. But also agrees with the fact that, yeah, Mom, you've been doing this your whole life and it's a gift you have. It's about time you concentrate on that. But she also sees how I'm doing this and I've also done so. How do I make the two work together? And that was part of our discussion that day. And that's number 5. And tell somebody that you can trust, whether it be a friend, a family member, a mentor. There is always someone in our life that is really trusted and will risk giving back the words, we give to them. I've said it in another video, if I'm going to say to somebody, I want to travel my whole life, and then I tell you I'm not going to do it, I'd like you to put those words back to me. I'd like you to say to me, hey, I thought you said you were going to travel when you had the chance. So in that, when I spoke to my daughter, she was one of those people, of course, that's so trusted that said to me, like, of course, Mom, you need to be doing this. And not in agreement, let me tell you. She told me first, as I started talking, she was like, whoa. And I said, no, I'm there. I'm just telling you how I got there. She said, good, because enough. So you need that accountability, I guess is what it is. It's nice to have somebody make you accountable for your dreams, for your goals, for what you wanted for you. Remember that person I told you about way in the beginning, the professional friend? By the time we talked again, I had been able to see that I had reached out. Yes, as a friend, I care about how my friend is doing, but it was the old brain, the old Theresa. She was going to drum up such work for us that I may not do the channel anymore because I'd be so busy working. I'd have so many projects on the go as I had in the past. I'd be living life. Like I said, it'd be great. Don't retire on your life. But is it what I want to do now at this time in my life? My life is just not a book made of one chapter, one story. My life has had many different chapters. I'm in this chapter now. And then I ended up speaking to my youngest daughter. She's quite the marketing genius. So to do with my channel, I was kind of ready to talk about the next steps and where I might go or what I might do next. And she agreed as well. And so having two very different people, even though they're close to me, agree on the aspects of what I see wholly for me, not just in parts of my life, but how my life looks as a whole, was very good, because I got there by myself in a very weird way. But it was really good to have that confirmation that I am doing actions that fall in line with what my words are saying. So tell the old you or the old ideas to get out of the way or drop them lower in the list. I believe that life is all about hitting your limits and finding out that you could go beyond. I've had some true happenings in my life that would flatten most people, but has shown me that I truly have resilience. It taught me to put my head down and get it done. It's my life, my happiness, lessons learned and all. So until next time, remember to write it down. But most of all, remember to be kind to yourself. Take care. Talk soon. Bye for now.